Doesn't have to be a Safari, a plug-in. Apple completely reversed itself. Where it's stuck on the religion of closedness, it would have stuck to closedness. Where it's stuck on the religion of openness, it would have, well, arguably it would have started with openness. The point here is that what Apple and Steve Jobs has proven is that what really matters is not whether it's open or closed, no matter what sort of industry jargon is being used. What truly matters is it works or it doesn't work. You know, is the iOS App Store an open or closed system? Well, you could make the case that it's an open system because anybody can write an app. You could make the case that it's a closed system because unless somebody at Apple approves your app, it's not going to go into the store. And if it doesn't go into the store, unless you have a jailbroken iPhone, you can't install it. Again, work or doesn't work is all that truly matters. Next thing is, for a long, long time, people used to beat Steve up and Apple about price. Macintosh was too expensive. iPhone is too expensive. iPad is too expensive. You know, you can get a cheaper iPad from BlackBerry. You can get a cheaper iPad from HTC. You can get a cheaper iPad from HP, depending on whether HP has discontinued it or not that day. So, you know, I think what Steve has proven is that there are a class of person that cares about value, which is different than price. Arguably, a Macintosh is more expensive. But is it truly more expensive when you consider the increased productivity, the ease of use, the less support costs? So Apple is testimony that, you know, value is very different from price. If you compete on price as an entrepreneur, it's a very, very difficult thing. I want you to think of a 2x2 matrix, okay? And in this 2x2 matrix, of course, you want to be in the upper right-hand corner because if anybody who worked for McKinsey or went to a business school, you know in a 2x2 matrix, you're always in the upper right-hand corner, right? That's just where it is. So the parameters on this matrix are uniqueness vertically and value horizontally. Okay? So in the upper right-hand corner, you are unique and valuable. That's where you want to be. Only you produce your product, and it is a very valuable product. The problem is many other people are in the other three corners. Let's discuss the other three corners. Let's say you're at the bottom right corner. In the bottom right corner, this means that you are in fact valuable but not unique. In the valuable but not unique corner, you're going to have to compete on price. If you slap the same operating system on the same hardware, guess what? You compete on price. In the opposite corner, the upper left corner. In the upper left corner, you're unique but not valuable. In other words, you're just plain stupid. You have created a product that nobody cares about. Only you have created it, but nobody uses it because it is of zero value. The bottom left corner is where you're unique and not valuable. Excuse me, I said that wrong. The bottom right corner is where you're not valuable and you're not unique. So this would be a corner where you do something really stupid, and stupid people like me in the venture capital business has funded more competition to do the same stupid thing. Okay? That's the worst corner of all. You could make that case about, let's say, pets.com. Hopefully you're old enough to remember pets.com. So pets.com, 10 or 15 years ago. The pitch was, we have patent-pending, curve-jumping, paradigm-shifting way to sell dog food online. The dog food business is fundamentally a supply chain management business. Dog food business. Let me explain it to you. On one side, we have a cow. On the other side, we have a dog. All we need to do is kill the cow, cut it into little pieces, put it in a can, get it to the dog. How hard could that be? So why was there a pet food store in the middle sucking up 25% of the margin? Revolutionary thought. Let's eliminate the pet food store in the middle, because nobody wants to drive to a pet food store, park at the pet food store, look at the pet food, pick up the pet food, and drive it to their house. Right? So let's eliminate that stupidity in the supply chain. That's our value. We make pet food much more convenient. The problem with that is that pet food is not so good online. For one thing, you may eliminate the pet food store, but then you have to add back shipping and handling. And then it's kind of inconvenient to buy pet food online because you have to be at home when UPS drops off the dead cows in the cans. So it's no more cheaper, and it's a pain in the ass because you have to be at home when the dead cows in the cans come to your house. So it's not that valuable. And then there was pets.com, and so since there was pets.com, then venture capitalists figured, well, we need our own pets.com. So that's why there was iPets.com, ePets.com, lastminutepets.com, discountpets.com. There's 16 ways to spend as much money for dog food online as at the pet food store and have the added inconvenience of having to be home when the pet food came to your house. That's the .com corner. Not unique, not valuable. So the corner you want to be in is the upper right-hand corner. If you're an engineer, you have to create a unique product or service. If you're a marketer, you have to convince the world that it is unique and valuable. It's that simple. I'll give you some examples of products that are in that corner for me. I love to go to movies. I have 4 kids. We love to take our kids to the movies. One thing you'll learn taking kids to the movies, it is a pain in the ass to get 4 kids to the movies. So you really want to know before you go that you have tickets. We live in Atherton. We go to Redwood City 20. Redwood City 20, you can buy tickets at home using Fandango. That's the only service that theater supports. Therefore, it's unique. If I want to buy tickets online and print them at home, I have to use Fandango. Unique. It's also valuable because now I know that I have a ticket before I get to the theater. I also skip the ticket buying line. I go straight into the theater. For me, that Fandango is unique and valuable. This is a Breitling emergency watch. This watch, if you unscrew this big knob, you pull it out, there's an antenna. That antenna broadcasts the emergency signal at the 121.5 band. And this signal is caught by airplanes. So if I'm ever in a life-threatening situation, I've gone skiing and I've gone off the path, I'm sailing and I'm like lost or something like that, I could pull this and this watch could save my life. This is not something you do, you took Rengstorff instead of Shoreline coming here today. This is something you do when you're about to die. This is a very unique watch. This watch can save my life. High and to the right. This watch is not the cheapest watch. But arguably, if you are in those kind of situations, the value is so great that the price becomes less relevant. Steve Jobs taught me that value is different from price. Next thing, Steve Jobs taught me that A players hire A players. B players hire C players. When you hire a C player, guess what a C player hires? A D player. Guess what a D player hires? An E player. This is called the bozo explosion. Okay? You need to fight the bozo explosion. Right now, you're all small companies. You're thinking you're hiring A players. The moment you lower your standards and hire a B player is when the bozo explosion starts. You hire a B player, the B player is going to say, I have to hire people who are not as good as me because they would show me up. They would be better than me. They might rise above me. So B players hire C players. And then the C players get in a position of hiring. Guess who they hire? The D players. And you wake up one day and you will be freaking surrounded by bozos. That is a bad thing. In fact, I think I have a way to improve what Steve said. I think A players hire A plus players. That arguably you would hire people better than you, not just equal to you. And I'll tell you, my experience is engineers have the hardest time with this concept. And the reason why is that engineers think that engineering is hard and everything else is easy. Right? So typically when you meet an engineer, the engineer says, engineering is really hard, programming is really hard, design is really hard, but finance is easy. If I wanted to, I could be the CFO. If I wanted to, I could be the CMO. If I wanted to, I could be the VP of operations. If I wanted to be, I could be the vice president of sales. Because engineering is hard, everything else is easy. So an engineer in particular violates this because an engineer is always trying to hire people that for positions that they think they can do better. It's a very dangerous thing. If you're an engineer, be very cognizant. Let me tell you something. Finance ain't easy. Sales ain't easy. Marketing ain't easy. And ops ain't easy. Engineering ain't easy either. But don't denigrate the other positions. Hire people who are better than you. If you are the CEO, you should say with great pride that I have someone in charge of sales who's better at sales than I am. And if you are the CEO, you should hire someone who you could say, I hired a VP of marketing, and this VP of marketing is much better than I am at marketing. That should be a source of pride for you. Next thing is, real CEOs can demo. Seriously, real CEOs can demo. It's not bullshit MBAs, you know, that you brought them in because of their credentials. Real CEOs can demo. They can actually use the product. And I've sat in many, many pitches where CEOs come in and they say, well, you know, now I'm going to let my VP of engineering demo the product. Like, why? Can't you demo it? Don't you know how to do it? If you really want to be a great CEO, you have to demo your own product. You can't demo your own product, quit. Something's wrong with you. Real CEOs do demos. Steve Jobs proved that. Nobody could do a demo better than Steve Jobs. It's going to be one of Tim Cook's biggest challenges. Real CEOs can demo. Next thing. Real entrepreneurs ship, not slip. They ship. You know, my theory is taken off from Bobby McFerrin. Bobby McFerrin had a great song, Don't Worry, Be Happy. Real entrepreneurs, don't worry, be crappy. Which is, when you have jumped curves, when you've gone from ice harvesting to ice factory to refrigerator company, when you've gone from daisy wheel printer to laser printer, the first version of the laser printer can have elements of crappiness to it. Right? The first laser printer from Apple was $7,000, slow Apple Talk network, single-sided, no envelopes, 8.5 by 11 only. Right? Piece of crap, but it was a revolutionary piece of crap. If we had waited for the perfect world of double-sided, envelope feeding, multiple, you know, megabytes of RAM, faster network, we would have never shipped. So as an entrepreneur, you have to understand that you need to ship. You need to ship. Don't worry, be crappy. I am not saying ship a piece of crap. I'm saying ship something that's jumped curves that has elements of crappiness to it. Big difference, okay? But real entrepreneurs truly do ship. And the last thing I learned from Steve Jobs is some things need to be believed to be seen. Most of the time you hear this in the opposite way, which is some things need to be seen to be believed. Not for an entrepreneur. This is how it works for an entrepreneur. You have to believe in your product, you have to ship your product, and then people will see it, and you will see it. And if you don't believe, it'll never happen. If you wait for proof, it'll never happen. If you wait for customer validation, it will never happen. You have to believe. The reason why Macintosh was successful is that at the core, 100 people, starting with Steve Jobs, believed in Macintosh. And because we believed in Macintosh, we made it real. Which is very different than if Macintosh was real, then we would believe it. If that were the case, Macintosh would never have succeeded. You have to believe in some things if you want to see some things. So, what time is it? Perfect timing, 22. So, this is the 12 lessons that I learned from Steve. And can we take Q&A?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I would love to take Q&A. You know, usually if I gave you my enchantment speech, I'd be pushing it. It would take 1 hour. So this is unusual. I have time to do Q&A. So let's do Q&A.
First of all, thanks for sharing your lessons and your insights.
Thank you.
I've heard you speak many times, and it's always enlightening. My question is regarding the point about A players need to hire A+ players.
Yes.
And this is a point that has been stated several times by many individuals, that hire people better than you. What are your suggestions regarding people developing the emotional understanding that they have to let go? It's not about them, it's about hiring the best talent in terms of getting the best people.
Yeah. You know, one of the things that is, I think, most difficult for a CEO and a founder is letting go. And it's perhaps an overused metaphor, but it really is like your children. And at some point, your sons and daughters will go to college, and you need to let go. This doesn't mean you disown them, but you need to let go. You need to let the person in charge of Apple stores really do Apple stores, and the people who are in charge of, you know, various functional groups of your company you need to let go? Well, for one thing, it's a very practical reason, is if you are